The Octopus of Humanism by Jeff Farnham. This will be the Moron reviews today. Now, of course, if you want an idea of what fundamental Christians think of secularism and humanism, this is a very good book. You can get it at Sword of the Lord. The Octopus of Humanism by Jeff Farnham. To give you an idea of some of the chapters, you got the tentacle of mysticism, the tentacle of relativism, the tentacle of materialism, the tentacle of secularism, intellectualism, emotionalism, pragmatism, and hedonism. Emotionalism I kind of agree with, but let's face it though. Theists use emotionalism too. People always use emotions. And the best way to get someone's emotions riled up is to use children. That's what people do. Of course, intellectualism, 65, let's just get an idea of just intellectualism, because let's face it, they do not like that too much. He uses Isaiah 55 verses 8 and 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Then he gives you the definition of intellectualism. Intellectualism is the consuming devotion to the exercise of one's intellect as the ultimate height of discovery and as the route to purest knowledge. Therefore, intellectualist believes that the apex of all learning is attained by means of his own observation, investigation, experimentation, scholarship, and ultimately his own discoveries. When such an individual elevates his thoughts and thinking capacity to a par with God, he is classified as intellectualist. Now, of course, that's not completely what scientists do. It's not their own just their own observations. It's observations of hundreds of other scientists. You know how a lot of you probably know how science works. Theists don't, but So intellectualism has no room for the knowledge that comes by faith, for such knowledge is not scientifically provable or observable with the senses. See? And if you just read Hebrews 11 verse 1. I've done it before in other videos, but do that and see what faith is. It's basically believing without evidence, no evidence. It's like if I tell you I have a little puppy sitting right there on my couch. You would have to believe that on faith. Do I have a puppy sitting there on the couch? Well, it's up to you to know whether or not I do. The intellectually, I don't. The intellectually motivated soul rules out plain truths and revelations of the Scripture in fear of his own mind's devices. Not exactly. We don't do it of our own minds of devices. Through scientific research, there are certain things you can observe, certain things you can pretty much prove, and determine, Faith, however, let's face it though, science does not prove nor disprove the supernatural. Then he does the biblical citation of intellectualism. I'm just doing this because to let you know how he breaks down each of those so-called tentacles of humanism. Biblical citation of intellectualism. Holy Scripture gives us the record of man who presumptuously preempted God on matters of thought and reason. He's going to give you Korah, the things that Korah did. This is the point of Korah. You can read it and find out what he did. Achan, what that guy did, and the conquering tribes, and all this other stuff. And he goes on and on and on. Actually, it's a pretty good book. I want to tell you that right now. Then current manifestations of intellectualism, an educational redefinition, school system, and the educational elite began as early as the 1930s. The Humanist Manifesto to redefine words and concepts in English language, knowing that such redefinition would eventually erode the proper understanding of the Scripture and of American politics. At first slogging their way through the heavy snows of opposition in a land still steeped in reverence for the Scripture and the original interpretation of the Constitution and other founding documents, these pioneers of subtle intellectualistic and spirituality hiked and climbed as they scaled peak after peak in the mountain chain of renaming and redefining. They did this via the German rationalism of that time, which was nothing more than Satan's old trick. Yeah, has God said, and basically telling all this weird stuff. You'll actually really, really, really enjoy this book. I can promise you that. Then he gives you the biblical refutation of intellectualism. And, I don't have to actually go over that, but you should really, 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 really consider this book. If you really want to have an idea what theists, sorry, there's gnats all around, what theists think about humanism and about, excuse me, and secularism and everything, you should really get this book. It's mainly Christians in general, but mainly the fundamentalist one. Jeff Farnham, Farnham, The Octopus of Humanism. I don't want to make this too long, but let's see if we can, maybe we can. It gives you, of course, all the things about the octopus, an actual octopus, which I really don't care, But let's see if we can. Well, he gives you a lot of good stuff. Let's just say that. Tentacles and all this stuff. Wonderful tentacles. Mysticism and all these things. It's an awfully good book. I recommend it. I'm fairly certain he does mention evolution. Probably in mysticism, I don't remember. It's been about a year or so since I read this book. But it is an awesome book. I read it when I was a Christian, and I read it when as an atheist, and I can assure you, you will enjoy this book. You might be able to get it at Amazon. I don't know, but you definitely can get it at Sword of the Lord Publishers. The Octopus of Humanism by Jeff Farnham, but I only pay $10. Bye.